Hello, good morning, and welcome to this Dogsters Taste Challenge. This is ancient aged store Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey, sour mash bourbon whiskey with this golden label, red and black trim. Ancient age always uses the red and black trim, although the regular ancient age is a cream colored label. And there's an ancient age preferred black label with the gold and white and red trim. That's a blended whiskey, which I don't see anymore in Louisiana. Don't miss it. Ancient age is common in Louisiana. Age 3 years, 80 proof sour mash. But this is ancient age, 10 star, whatever that means. And it's 90 proof. And I have never seen this in Louisiana. I bought this in Meridian, Mississippi at Bonita Plaza Liquors. Okay, so it was $13.99. So I'd never seen it before or since. Now, the website that they used to have for this, greatbourbons.com, which is now defunct, claimed it was a 6-year age. This bottle clearly says 3 years. There may be a 6-year age floating around out there on the market, but I've not seen it. So this is pretty obscure. And there's also a cream colored ancient age, regular ancient age 90 proof, which I've also not seen. I don't believe I've seen that one. Okay. The competitor, very Old Barton. Introduced 1964 by Barton Distilling. This is the 86 proof green stripe label. There's the red stripe, 80 proof. There's the white stripe. They're bottled and bond. There may be other variants. I don't know. All right. I know there's a Barton blended whiskey, 80 proof. It's not called very Old Barton. It's called Barton. It's a different line. It's the Barton line where they got the ribbon, the sash across each label. The gin has the green sash. The blended whiskey has the red or something. But there, you might see them in Kentucky. I've never seen them anywhere else. Okay, so this bottle used to say 6 years here, 6 years. But after Sazerac bought Barton in 2009, you'll notice the 6-year disappeared and it was replaced with the proof number. So this has no age statement. It's no longer bottled at Barton Distilling. It says bottled at Barton Distilling of Frankfort, Kentucky, but that's Sazerac. All right, that's Buffalo Trace, which is owned by Sazerac. So Sazerac owns Buffalo Trace, and they own Barton Distilling, Barton 1792 Distillery. So there's the answer on that. They're not paying someone to bottle it for them. They own both distilleries. They also own Glenmore Distillery in Owensboro, Kentucky. And they do a lot of products over there. They distill rum over there, and they make all those, those little 50 milliliter concoctions of all sorts, like 99 brand bananas and all. And those are seen everywhere. Now, they also own the Sazerac House in New Orleans, which has a distillery at the ground floor, but it's they only produce Sazerac rye there. Well, they did the 2 times I visited Sazerac rye, which they also most of it is produced at Buffalo Trace. But the guy was showing us how they make Sazerac rye, and it was very interesting. And he was talking about how you could taste the barrel proof, but it's not smart because he said it could make you go blind. It's too strong. And he said they actually had some distillers he knew about that had gone blind from drinking that barrel proof, uncut whiskey, sipping on it. So it's toxic, He said, I don't mess with it, But he said, we don't bottle it here or age it here because we don't have the facilities. We just ship it back. We just ship it Buffalo Trace where they age it and bottle it. But they do make They do distill in New Orleans, but only Sazerac rye, and we do get it cheap. They always having sales on Sazerac rye around here, $19.99. Benchmark, you can get a handle of that. Benchmark, $18.89, $18.99. I saw that yesterday in the ad paper, $18.99 for Benchmark. Okay, as you can see, the well, you might be able to see the ancient age is darker. It's more copper, and the Barton 1792 is more gold, amber gold. So I have to be careful about that, because if I glance down and see the darker shade, I'll know which one it is. Who's going to have the advantage? Well, that's hard to say, because some people prefer lower proof, some people prefer higher proof. In this case, we're only looking at 90 versus 86. So 43 versus 45% alcohol, not much difference. So that's probably not going to have much, if any, impact. I think what's going to have the impact is that the very old Barton has a strong charred oak flavor. Nearly almost like it has smokiness, but it's charred oaks, like charcoal. Whereas the ancient age has the sourdough bagel flavor, sourdough bagel or sourdough biscuit or something, because of the sour mash process, which I think gives it that sourdough bagel flavor. Yeah, daylight is arriving out there. I'm seeing the sky lighten up, so that's why I got the light off. I don't have any lamps on. We'll see what it looks like when I'm finished if it's daylight. Oh, price point, yeah, $13.99 for the ancient age, and it was about $11.99 for the VOB, very old Barton 86. So, $2 difference. But that could vary, store to store. It might be $2 difference one way or the other, or even. So, like, you might go to the next store and the ancient age might be $2 cheaper. Ancient age 10 store. So, it could be, they're close. And you get that in Louisiana, where it'll fluctuate. Within $2, it can go either way on that, But in my case, it was $2 difference, and we're going to work with that. And I find that Sazerac, Buffalo Trace, Barton, Glenmore, / they tend to have a common style flavor. And I think it's probably due to a common yeast strain that they're using. I know they have a distillery plant, might just be a blending plant and bottling plant in Lewiston, Maine, White Rock Distiller. There was Monumental Distilling in Majestic, well, they renamed it Majestic Distilling in Baltimore County, Maryland, but I think it shut down. I tried to look it up on Google Maps, it wouldn't show anything. And it used to show it by the railroad tracks. So I guess they didn't need it and they shut it down. Something happened. They still got Sazerac Canada up there in Montreal, the Montreal Distillery. So let's see, that's 3 in Kentucky, 1 in Maine, 1 in Montreal, that's 5. And then there's the Sazerac Cognac Distillery in France. So that's 6. And then number 7, the Sazerac House in New Orleans, if you want to count that one. It's more like a tourist distillery, but it does exist and they do produce products. How can you tell if your Sazerac rye is coming from New Orleans or Kentucky? You probably can't tell, but there might be an internal code. Well, it's got to be a code, right? Because if something happened, they'd have to be able to track it, like if there was some infection or something for public safety, a recall. Yeah, there's probably a way that they can tell, but then you probably wouldn't know the code. I certainly don't know the code. Would it affect the flavor? I don't see how. Unless the water could, like Mississippi River water versus Kentucky limestone spring water, that might make a difference. But I think doesn't Buffalo Trace get their water from the Kentucky River? Like it's river water also, and the Kentucky River flows into the Mississippi, so it might be purer in Kentucky, huh? But Yeah, tributary in the main line. Mississippi. Because remember, you can go all the way to Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh is connected to New Orleans with through river water. Some people do that as a summer project. Get on a canoe in Pittsburgh and come all the way down. Or they'll start in New York in a little creek, and it flows down to Pittsburgh. And so they say, I went from New York State all the way to New Orleans on the river, on rivers. I don't think too many people do it. Sounds miserable to me because of all the rain and bad weather and the length of time and the hassle, but they talk about that in the paper sometimes. Remember, some 80-year-old guy did it. Or they'll go from Minneapolis, St. Paul down here. You could drive along. There's the great River Road National Scenic Highway that'll take you from where the Mississippi River starts, all the way to New Orleans. You could take that. Actually, south of New Orleans. I think it ends down at where the road ends. Can't go any further. It has a big sign. This is the end of the highway in Louisiana. Next stop, Gulf of Mexico. Get in the boat. That smells like just standard bourbon. Nothing yay or nay, nothing up or down, sideways, front, back, diagonal. It's just, you couldn't distinguish it from anything else. Maybe there's a little charred oak. Maybe. That's a big maybe. So appearance, there's a difference. Of course, you can't say win or lose because it's a preference. Do you want darker or lighter? That's irrelevant. Aroma, there might be a difference, but it's minimal, so it's no workable difference. Can't work with it. Now we go to taste. Cheers. All right. Definite charred oak. You're getting that bread. Can't describe it. Sazerac type house style. Tastes like very Old Barton because it's got a deep char. It's got the vanilla. It's got the sugar water that you get with whiskey. It's got the honeysuckle nectar, but it's got that heavy oak. And I mean charred oak. The charcoal. Tastes like you're about to barbecue. All right, over here. There is charred oak, but it's not heavy. There is the sourdough bagel, but it's more of it, much more of it. There's the sweetness, certainly. Sugar water. There's the vanilla that you get with bourbon. They don't add vanilla to it unless it's bourbon with natural flavors, which is, if you want to call that a true bourbon, go ahead, but nobody else in their right mind's going to. They're going to call it what it is, a bourbon with natural flavors, not a true bourbon. Maybe a true joke or an atrocity. All right, I'm talking trash, right? But I got 2 bottles. I mean, I just bought them just to say, well, what the heck? Oh, no, I got 3 bottles. It gets worse. It gets more embarrassing. But these are real. These are authentic. They're straight bourbon. No playing. No fun and games with these. No funny business. No funny bunnies or silly billies. It's straight bourbon. No added color. No added flavoring. Whatever you get is from the grains and the barrel, and that's it. And of course the yeast. Honeysuckle nectar. Okay, so I'm thinking this is the Barton and this is the ancient age by virtue of what key component? The charred oak. I got it wrong once already though to this challenge, but I got 2 right and 1 wrong so far. I'm just starting out, but I got it mixed up with 10 high of all things. The 10 high. I don't know which one. One of those 2, because I got 2 versions of it. I was embarrassed by it, but wasn't totally shocked in a way because, like I said, these Sazerac products, man, they are And some people I've watched a lot of videos and I cannot disagree with. They'll caution people. They'll be like, man, before you try to go run down and get on a waiting list to get that Blanton's, before you get on that waiting list for Eagle Rare and pony up the big money, you might want to look at the under $40 bottles from them, and there's a lot of them. And then when you taste those, go back when you finally get that phone call or that text to come pick up your Buffalo Trace. Not your Buffalo Trace. You should be able to find that. That's $24.99 Louisiana. I mean your Blanton's from Buffalo Trace, or your Eagle Rare, or your Stag. So George T. Stag. So they only use 4 mash bills: high rye, low rye. The rye mash bill, which is rye whiskey, is not even bourbon, and then the wheated bourbon mash bill. That's it. 4. That's 4 only. And every bourbon they sell is coming from those 4 mash bills. You say, well, then how is it different? Well, they could have char levels: heavy char, medium, light. Aging, 10 years, Eagle Rare. 3 years, ancient age. Strength, barrel strength, which I hate. I hate barrel cask strength. It's nasty to me. It's too strong, but other people run behind it, Or just regular strength, 90 proof, or down to 80, like regular ancient age, 80, or benchmark. So they add water to bring it down, 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 down. They can't bring it down below 80 because then it wouldn't be bourbon. So, or even whiskey. So at the low end, 80, high end, who knows? High on a rare occasion. So I'm just saying, it's your money. Do what you want. Buy whatever you want. Doesn't matter to me, especially since it's not my money. But it's just a caution. You might want to check them out before you're running behind the big. Because, like I'm saying, when you get that bourbon, it's only 3 mash bills. It's only 3 wheated, and there's only a handful of wheated bourbons they make, right? Weller and a couple of others. And so, really, for the vast majority of what you're getting from them, you're looking at 2 mash bills: high rye and low rye. I know there's ways I'm just talking about the ways you could twist it around: high, low, medium, front, back, side, diagonal. But that's all based on the char level, the proof, and the aging. You say, yeah, but what if they use the sour mash process or they don't use the sour mash process? I suppose that could make a difference. And it seems to be making a difference here, but I think the char level is making the real difference. So anyway, all that being said, I'm going to go with the winner here. I like it. I like that. Now that's me now. I like the heavy char. Other people would say, oh no, I can't stand that. I can't stand a heavy charred bourbon. It's disgusting to me. That's a personal preference issue. There's no right or wrong. Now, some people that drink whiskey as a religion, then they do think it's right and wrong. It's a moral, they look at it as a moral question. You say, well, only a fanatic would do that. I know. They got fanatics, and some of them make videos. They'll say, heavy char is the way to go. That's morality. If you would prefer a lightly charred bourbon, you're an immoral person in their mind. You say, but that's insanity. I know it is, but we are able to look on that objectively. If you're a fanatic, you can't look at things objectively. That's why people call you a fanatic. Okay, because you exhibit the features thereof. So, VOB, very Old Barton. They call it VOB in Kentucky, a little nickname. But that's the ancient age. Got it wrong now twice. Now I'm what, 2-2? Very bad record here. 2 wins, 2 losses. Let me think of an excuse. Well, really, it's not an excuse. Sazerac, I just talk is incessantly about how their bourbons all pretty much taste the same, and now it's happening. Wesley says, interesting comparison. I've never tried either one. Glenfarclas is my rare go-to. Oh yeah, I've seen that one, that Scotch. Seen it around. Oh, I can definitely get it, Wesley. It's just a matter of expediency. It's just a matter of getting through everything. I got a list that would go from one end of this house to the other of what I'd like to buy. Trying to get this thing to focus. But in a practical sense, it's not going to happen. It's all wishful thinking. But, I buy different ones and I go through what I can as time permits and just see what I can check out. I mean, the bourbon collection is so huge now. It's really out of hand. I would say it is out of hand. If you went over there and said you're going overboard with that, I would agree with you. I wouldn't take issue with that. But when you go to the store and they got a $45 bottle of bourbon for $10, I don't know. I'm going to buy it. I mean, that's just, I don't know what you're going to do, but if I see a $45 bottle of bourbon for $10, I'm buying it. And I've been seeing that at Walmart. It happens every month. So I buy it. I don't need it. It just makes the situation worse trying to get through everything, but I'm not going to pass it up. And I bought a whole slew of those one day. Just like, it doesn't end around here. And I found that Cristalino, Hornitos Cristalino. It's like $38 low end. If you find it, it's $38 low end. If you catch it on a sale, Walmart had it for $10. Do I need another clear tequila? Absolutely not. But it ain't gonna change. Yes, sir. I think you would be impressed. I probably would because I like Scotch whiskey so much. Single malt, blended, doesn't matter. I'm not part of that war, A lot of people are talking about the religion, beer as a religion or whiskey as a religion. But I had people, you just got fanatics. I had a guy tell me, I like any single malt. I said, really? Yeah, if it's single malt, I like it. And I'm thinking, I didn't argue with him because I know that's like a loaded statement. He's trying to bait me to see what I'm going to say. But I got that feeling. So I said, oh, okay. And I'm thinking to myself, I bet you never tried Trader Joe's 8-year single malt. I bet you'd change your mind fast about you love every single malt. Because that's the kind of single malt only a mother could love. It's unreal. Did it do poorly in the competition? Yeah, it did. It did terrible in the competition, and it deserved to do terrible. It's one of those products that at first you think it's all right, and then the more you sip it, the worse it gets, and it does not get better. Well, you got me again, Buffalo Trace Sazerac. You got me again. I thought I had it down, but it knocked me down. So that's 2 wins, 2 losses if I got my numbers right. Well, I just try to bounce back. I mean, that's all I can do. I just try to bounce back with the next one. And unfortunately, it's another Sazerac. Oh, my. I think when I get on to Heaven Hill, I'll do better because they don't, Buffalo Trace and Heaven Hill, they don't really taste too similar, I don't think. All right, so I have no moral objections against people's preferences on whiskey. Laughing out loud. Take care, man. You too. Bye-bye.